Hi everyone, I'm Martin, and welcome to this first installment of Music Composition Study. I hope you enjoyed the song. If you did, well, thank you. And what I want to do right now is to show you how I came up with the ideas in the song and how I use theory and techniques to help me in the composition. So I'm gonna start the song again. So the intro is only drum and bass. Bass plays E, and then you get this. So the bass didn't change. This is intentional. It's called a pedal point. So the bass play the note E all the time, and it helps create some kind of tension, but calm tension. I don't know if you can say that. And that's it. So if you look at the lead, the rhythm is always the same. It doesn't change. So it also helps in the kind of the mood that is calm but tense. and it's all notes from the chords, all except one. The first note that is played on the B chord, the last measure, is an A, and it is the seventh note of the chord. So technically that would be a B7 there, but it is implied because of the melody. Now let's look at the chords more in depth. So the song is in the mode E Dorian, and if you look at the first four chords, E minor, A major, D major, G major, it's simple Dorian, nothing really special there. The fifth chord is the C sharp diminished, and well, it's unusual, but it's still in the mode, so it doesn't sound really out of place. It's just a little bit tense because it's a diminished chord, so that's what it does. But it gets interesting. The sixth chord, the F sharp major chord, technically in E Dorian you would get a F sharp minor, but I use the major, and why it works is because of the following chord, the B minor. What it does is F sharp major is the dominant chord of B. So and you see the note that is red, the A sharp, is one semitone lower than B, so it's called a leading tone. So it's the chord that will create the tension and then push to the next chord. In this case it's B minor, and it's something that is used a lot in jazz especially. So the next chord is B minor, so this one is in E Dorian, no problem. And the final chord is B but major, and it's the same technique there. So the B major is the dominant chord of E minor, which is now the tonic, so this chord will work perfectly. So the red note there is D sharp, and D sharp will lead exactly one semitone lower to the E. So that's the perfect chord to end that pattern right there. So let's get to the next pattern. So let's hear that section again. Okay, now harmonized, two leads. Okay, so now let's see the chords of that section. So we're still in E Dorian, and the first three chords are in E Dorian, no problem there. The fourth chord is a C major, and obviously as the C, and there's no C in E Dorian, that should be a C sharp. So this chord has what I call a chromatic passing tone, and let me explain what it is. If you see the A major, it has a C sharp, and if you look at the E minor, it has a B. So between the A and the E minor, I'm using the chromatic note that is between C sharp and B, so C in that chord. The E and the G of the chord is in the mode, so there's no problem. So that way I can use the C because there is kind of a movement from C sharp to C to B in the returning E minor chord. So that's something that is used a lot, and it's really interesting because you can use chords that are not technically in the mode or in the key, and it will sound great. It will create a little tension, but it is resolved because of the movement. So let's go back to the score and check the lead 1 and lead 2. So lead 1 starts really simple until the 6th measure right there. So you see that I'm following that same movement right there, the C sharp, then C, and then B on A major, C major, and E minor. And then the harmony of lead 2 starts, and it's a third higher than the original melody. That's the most common way to harmonize some lead parts. And it's thirds until you get to the descending chromatic thing. There I'm using the chord note because it kind of hard to harmonize at that point. So on the E minor I'm using G. I'm using G on G, and then I go up on A on the A chord, and go back to G on the C chord, and then E on the E minor chord. So it fits the chord, but it's not a kind of linear harmony right there. Okay, now let's move to the other section right there. And let's play it for you. Okay, so in this section, well, I kind of pushed the concept of the chromatic passing tone a little bit further right there. So you see it's all 7 chords, but each of the pad only play 3 notes. But you know that a 7 chord has 4 notes. So why is that? And I'm gonna show you what I did right there. So when you get a 7 chord, it is the tone, the degrees 1, 3, 5, 7. But you can use 1, 3, 5, which is a basic chord, and also use 3, 5, 7, which in a way it's 1, 3, and 5 also. So that's exactly what I did there. I used the 2 pads with different sounds, and I used different chords, but mixed together it builds a 7 chord. So I use E minor and then G, and it gives me an E minor 7. Same thing with G minor, B flat gives a G minor 7. D with the F sharp minor gives you a D major 7. And finally, the F with the A minor gives you a F major 7. So that's exactly what I did there. So you can see in the little diagram right there, the red notes are the notes that are not in E dorian, and each of these notes is a chromatic passing tone. So you can see the note before and the note after in the chords, and you see with the arrows the movement. So it fits. It sounds a little bit strange and dissonant, but that's it. It was the goal in this part, just a little interlude and go back to the main riff. So there's one little thing I want to show you, and we're gonna go back to that first section, and I'm gonna play it, and it's near the end of the song. So goes back to it with the bass still on the pedal point, and you're gonna see why it's cool to have that and then change it right there. So if you feel that build up, well, it's because first the tempo is half time with the drums, and then you hear that the bass is following the chords and it's longer notes. It's not the short notes right now. So That's a way that you can use the same melody, but with the arrangement different. It's gonna give you something, kind of a build up in a song. So that's the technique from the end of that song right there. And I'm finishing the song with that interlude and stay on the F major 7 right there. So that's it. I hope you liked it. And if you enjoyed and you want more, well, don't be afraid to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.